Let's talk about a couple projects that we have, and then we'll just get into questions and answers of things I want to hear from you. So, if you remember, probably back in February, the board approved what they call the compensation and classification study. How many of you are familiar with what that is? All right, so let's take some time to talk about it. The comp and class study. All right, so what that basically is doing is that the board has asked the superintendent to have a company come in and evaluate all of the compensation classifications and the salary classifications and the job classifications for every employee within the district. And they want to look at that, but they want to evaluate that across the metro Atlanta area and other areas to see whether or not the board is compensating their employees at a fair marketable rate. Okay? That's what it's all about. I have over the past several years have said that our drivers and our monitors make far less than what even our neighboring counties make. Okay? And unfortunately, sometimes, like I said, you gotta go through the process to get folks to see it a little differently. Okay? But I think they got it. And one of the things that they're doing right now is that they're doing these focus groups, and you may have been part of a focus group. You may have been participating in what they call a job analysis questionnaire. And for you all as drivers, what we did was there were some of you who had already gone in and submitted. And basically all it's doing is looking at your job specification and saying, do you do this, or do you do other things that should be added to it? So when they look at your classification salary structure, they need to pay you a comparable rate to some of the others, okay? When they finish all of this work, the board is gonna get a report. And when that report comes out, that report is gonna say two things. It's gonna say, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Board Member, you have a $50 million deficit in how much you pay your employees predicated on what the market rate is going for right now for these particular positions. How do you want to work toward getting them where they are comparable within the market, right? And I'm just giving a number, for example. So if they say district-wide, there are $50 million worth of salary increases that need to happen, they may do $5 million over the next 10 years to everybody. They may say, we're gonna take $50 million out of general fund and we're gonna put it into every staff member right now, and you'll get that salary increase now. They may say, we're gonna do it predicated on different areas. So for example, I asked them to do operations first as part of the first phase. So anyone that is not tied to the local school has gone through this process first. And that was purposeful. Why? Because how many teacher salaries and local school salary increases have happened over the past 3 years versus what has happened in operations? Right? So that's the issue. So they were willing to do that. So my hope is that when the report comes out, if they don't get to the teachers and the principals and everybody else, they can at least say, for all those non-school based personnel, which includes drivers, monitors, mechanics, maintenance technicians, all those staff members who support the local schools, if it comes out and say ours is 10 million of that 50, right? Who knows what the number is? I'm hopeful that they'll go ahead and start making an investment now and not wait.
Okay,
That's the hope, that's the strategy, that's the conversation that I've been having with them, and we'll see what that looks like. But the board makes a decision. Last time when this was done, the group came in and the superintendent asked for the study. Now let's be real honest about it, because there's some misinformation that's out there. The superintendent asked for the study. When the study came, the superintendent at that time, Dr. Atkinson, who was our superintendent when we were in the market crash, she used the report to cut everybody, and operations got cut by 52%. We lost most of everything. I lost maintenance technicians, we lost drivers, we lost monitors, we lost school nutrition staff, we lost almost half of the staff members that we needed to support in terms of our local folks. We ended up taking the brunt of that hit. Okay? So understand, that's why I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about, is because all the issues that we ended up having was because one person made the decision to use the report in a not so positive way, if that makes sense. This time, it's not the superintendent has requested the report. The superintendent will use the report to help inform the board's decision on how to address salary, how to address compensation, how to address how our job specifications are labeled and structured. Does that make sense? So the board will make a decision. My understanding is that the report possibly will be completed sometime by the end of May. As soon as it's finished, I'm happy to have that conversation and we can start talking through what it looks like so that you all can get the information. It will be presented at a board meeting, and I'm sure the board will pretty much be public about what they're gonna do in their strategy that they're gonna take to start restoring a lot of the salary deficits that we have across the district. Does that make sense? All right, so when you go to the board, and here's all about strategy and why I'm saying what I'm saying, we're in a budget process right now. And so there's certain individuals who've gone to the board and have talked and had very positive communication. If you decide to go to the board next month, the narrative is a little different now, right? Sometimes you can get a little bit more with honey than you can get with vinegar, right? So whether you feel like you hate the board or not, you can't stand the superintendent or not, when you get on camera, guess what you do? Thank you. You be professional. You know what? Thank you for considering what? All of this, right? We need raises, we need money, we need staff, we need all that. Thank you for doing that. And what happens? It's not for you. Guess who's watching you? The people who put them in office. So for a board member to say, you got people who are saying, hey, we have needs and we need help, and for you to say, I'm not concerned about that, I'm not willing to help our people eat and make ends meet, guess what happens? They get tapped a little bit the next time they go out for re-election. But if you come up there and you show your behind, and we get up there and we do the disrespectful thing and it's just bad, guess what they're gonna say? Oh, you don't need to do that because we don't need those employees anyway. These are the folks that's taking care of our kids. I've seen it happen. I'm just saying, I've seen it happen in the district and so what I started to do is try to help change the strategy so that when you go up there, if you're positive, what can they say negative about you? What can they use? If you use factual data, what can they say? Nothing. But you know what? I hear their heart. They're very humble about it. They're just trying to eat like everybody else is trying to eat. We need to do something about it. And I know for certain you have it's 7 board members. Majority of them are in support of salary increases to staff and additional staff to help take some of the load off because of the cuts that we had years ago. Okay? So I'm doing my part behind the scenes to prepare them for what's to come. So the question is what is the budget gonna look like? And when we get to that point, they'll make a decision about what impact they'll be able to make for next school year. I'm hopeful at a minimum, they'll do a 3% raise for everybody. That's what I'm hoping for, at a minimum. All right, but I'm expecting more than that. Yes, ma'am.
Can they come and say what they've been saying?
Which is?
That
they don't have any money?
things won't change, we won't get raises.
Of course.
The board can always make a decision to keep the status quo or to make a difference, right? The question is not so much what will they say, the question is how much money in the digest will they have to invest in employees? So what you have is you have competing needs, right? So say if the district needs to hire new people, they need to give salary increases to folks, and they need to make sure that they have, capital needs for things taken care of, right? So you got all these different, like we do in our own house, right? We need to buy the kids some clothes, we gotta get food, we need to make sure we get the shoes, but I still got a mortgage to pay and I still got a light bill I gotta take care of. Which one is the highest priority? Well, I'm gonna pay my mortgage first, right? Then I'm gonna feed my kids, because at least they got a place to stay and they're not hungry. I might be able to carry those shoes a little bit longer than I planned, but I need to make sure the next thing I come back and do is buy those shoes. That's the kind of prioritization and discussion they're gonna have at a board level about the needs within the district. My hope, though, is that no matter what, they at least build in a salary increase now, because you gotta take care of your people. In my opinion, that's an absolute, but we'll see what they say. But I believe that they're gonna come back and have some positive conversation about what they can do, because we're not where we were in 2008 when the market crashed. Okay, our fund balance is about 125 million. If the governor, which I believe the governor just got a law approved where all of the QBE funding, if you remember that was taken away during that time, will finally be restored. It's about $166 million worth of QBE funds, which is the qualified funds for education, that comes back. Of that 166, who knows, we may get 5 million, I don't know what the number is, but we may get a portion of that, which will help, okay? So depending on what the fund balance is at the end of the year, that helps them in their decision-making process.
So you're saying there's a chance that we won't keep taking the big loss?
I think there's a chance now that where we are financially, that we won't go back. Yes, ma'am. No, I'm talking about us. I love the folks in the building, but I work for y'all, period, okay? So I'm arguing more for my folks, because they're gonna do what they gotta do for teachers and paraprofessionals and all the folks in the schools. So it's a positive chance, yes ma'am. Okay, no guarantee, but it is a positive chance.
I mean, because they asking us to do the same thing they asking the teachers. I mean, the counselors.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. Yes ma'am.
So.
Yep. Go ahead ma'am, I'm listening. You're right.
Really, we are. I mean, we're just not with the children as long as they are.
but the kids won't be in the building if you don't go pick them up.
Well, they don't recognize that though. They don't recognize that.
Here's all I'm saying, this is what I'm saying to you. I have always and I will always be a strong supporter of maintenance, transportation, operations, all the stuff that we do, right? And I'm very real about it, and I've had this conversation with them. If you don't go get the 67,000 kids that do not walk to school or their parents don't take them, how do they plan to get there so the teachers can teach? Right? If we don't keep the HVAC systems running and the building's cooled or heated during the winter time, guess what happens? It's gonna impact their ability to learn and achieve. So it's our job to make sure that we do our part as support. It's the board's job to do their part as to what? Support the support.